Hey, what's up? It's iCkEdMeL. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. And yesterday I had like at least 3 videos planned. Everything fell by the wayside. I was dealing with Comcast, the internet, all these issues that I've been dealing with recently came back again yesterday. And so I think now it's resolved. There was several updates that I've been wanting to do. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I'm trying to kind of prioritize and put what's important and doable first versus other things that I can make easier, like changing a title to a video with the women that were found. And so we'll see where we get with that. But this video is about Noemi Bolivar and Joe Carillo. He recently went on a radio station in Miami.
Tiene más de 70 días desaparecida Noemi Bolivar. Ella es de origen venezolano. Les decía, salió a caminar y no regresó. Bueno, Joe Carillo dio unas declaraciones a los medios.
And yes, it's in Spanish. And I've had a couple of people, 2 people reach out to me and they were saying, hey, can you do something to maybe summarize the video? Can you just tell us what he said? And I figured that's what we'll do with this video. Now, Noemi Bolivar, she went missing February 11th from Hollywood, Florida. She was believed to be that she took the bus to Ann Kolb Nature Center, which is a park. And from there, we believe she disappeared, though there's been a lot of revelations. And so if you haven't followed the story, I'll put the links down below. I have a playlist to catch you up. If you need to, you can simply search her name as well. But Noemi Bolivar, she's 22 now currently, and her family and her friends and her, they were part of the church, the Church of Saint Latter-day, what the hell? God. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I wanted to get that right. They're also known as the Mormons, though I believe they don't like to go by that name anymore. And so I'm going to get to the notes that I wrote. Bear with me. To me, it didn't make sense to pay a company a service to make the captions into English. It would be just ridiculous. Didn't make much sense. But he went on this radio station and he spoke to the lady about, in general, about his experience and missing kids and missing people in general. And then eventually he gets to Noemi Bolivar, and the notes that I wrote, a couple of them, bear with me, okay? The people that reached out to Joe were friends of Noemi from the church, and he said that they love her immensely. Joe told them he needs to talk to her parents. From interviewing the parents for more than 3 hours, he says that he felt she left on her own. Okay, and we've been talking about this and we've gone in depth, and I'm not going to reiterate the stuff that I've already said. If you're part of the channel, you know what we're talking about. Joel said that he had an investigator that deals with human, and that person had a lot of experience. And so he stated that with this investigation in this case, they explored and they went down both avenues. So he didn't just go down the avenue of, even though that's how he felt, he still left it open. He had an expert in the field of human to check this thing out. Now, they felt Noemi left voluntarily for reasons Noemi only knows. Seeing what we've seen, we believe we know the reason. We think she left to start a completely new life. I want this message to go out to Noemi. We know why and everything is okay. Just let us know that you're alive. The mother, father, sister, and brother have a lot of pain regarding this, with a church that loves her dearly. But Noemi had many things inside that she couldn't do in the situation she was in. She was dealing with a lot. She had a dilemma. She had this thing inside her, which I believe I know what it is because I've mentioned it. And it's not just, if you've watched the channel, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. But she had a dilemma, and the people around her, and it seems like the church didn't have solutions for the things that she was going through. It says here, and he said, we can't say anymore. It's a personal and delicate situation, which there's more. It's a very difficult situation for Noemi's parents because there's a lot of influences over Noemi and her parents. Can't say more. I think we're going to find Noemi and that Noemi is good. Joe says he saw evidence of the pain Noemi had inside, and the cell phone being turned on and off. And so the host asks him, what's up with the cell phone being turned on and off? Joe says that the information came from the parents. It was confirmed with the person she asked to enter a chat with. Her phone was turned on, and Noemi, or the person that has her phone, initiated a chat. She initiated a chat with 3 of her closest friends. And he started talking about if somebody had her captive or something like that, or somebody was using her for nefarious means, that there's no reason for somebody to do something like that. And Joe says that that's the reason I say I believe she's alive 100%. And another telephone record that I've seen that the parents also gave him, that indicates that before she went missing, she had spoken to some people, and certain things that happened that paints the picture about what happened. All indicators that, she was planning on leaving. Something else happened that I can't go into details. Her parents gave them access to the computer. They got into and checked areas the police couldn't. So they had more access than police, maybe because they had the passwords, maybe because, I don't know, for whatever reason. And he said there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that was found that indicated that she met a random person in a chat, that she spoke to anyone outside of her circle. But there was a lot and an immense amount of information that was found about the dilemma Noemi was dealing with. And believe me, if you knew everything we knew, you'd understand. And a lot of things too, I believe he's talking kind of vague because he has to. And so I know some people have a hard time reading between the lines, but that's what you need to do. And from the things that I learned, I don't even think it's just what I've mentioned about what she could have been dealing with, but I think it's other stuff too, the dynamics maybe of, a growing person, a person that's a woman in a certain condition, in a certain situation, I think too, possibly. But he also said that she had a lot of pain, a lot of fear of not being able to overcome the problem that she had. Problem or situation. The situation she's in her life, there's no solutions with the people that are around her. It doesn't exist. And that took her to a point, and other personal things that I can't talk about. That's what Joe's saying. And at this point, Joe tells a story about a different case briefly. And he kind of mentions about another case with a mother, where he told the mother that your daughter's alive, because he's trying to look at things optimistic, And so he's telling her the daughter's alive. And it turned out she wasn't. And the mother came to him and said, you told my daughter was alive and she wasn't. And he said that really impacted him. And so he takes putting something out there like that I believe she's alive, very seriously. And he thought a lot about it. He said, before I make a declaration, I really think deeply about it. It might be interesting to have Joe on sometime. I'm not sure if he'd be willing to come on. I mean, we had the thing with James Terry interview where he found a missing girl, and that interview was great. People loved it. It might be interesting to have him come on, and I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's other options, but just to talk about this and maybe some of the previous things too that are going around on the internet. I mean, it might be. We'll talk about that at the end. And so he also said, I believe Noemi is alive, and the community needs to show Noemi it's okay. It's not a problem. We understand. And that the message Noemi hasn't gotten for years. Oh, let me say it again. And that message of things being okay, it's not a problem with the dilemma that you're dealing with. And that message Noemi hasn't gotten for years. And so the host at this point around there mentions, can she just give us a sign that she's alive? Can she something more than the previous thing? And Joe believes she gave her sign on March 29th at 9:47 a.m. when her phone initiated a chat with her 3 best friends. And I also thought it was telling that she didn't text or message her parents. She messaged her best friends. And then he said, but we have to take her to a point that she lets her parents know she's okay. Her mother is doing bad, and so is her father. Her 14-year-old sister is destroyed, and her brother as well. And that's what we want, a sign. The host asks, and why do you think she's not giving a sign? Is she getting punished? Is she getting, reprimanded? And Joe said again, I think that she already gave it. he also said Noemi has to be very angry about certain situations. I can't say more than that. I'll say that again. Noemi has to be very angry about certain situations, and I can't say more than that. She's angry, and when someone's very angry, it takes them to a certain situation. If I'm correct, it's going to take some time. Noemi is in a situation, a very difficult situation, not because she's lost. I don't think she's in the streets. Trust me, the streets have been worked. One of the other very telling things that he said during this interview, he said, I think Noemi is possibly better now, and that's something hard to say. I think if the people that know admit that, it will help Noemi. So he's saying he thinks she's in a better place now. If you knew all the details, you'd understand. And that was the gist that I got from it. He mentioned the Facebook group and talked about them a little bit. He also said that he doesn't charge for his services. And that's kind of what I got from that. If you speak Spanish and there's bits and pieces you want to include, comment down below. It would be interesting, I think, to have him on, but I don't know. He's probably super busy. I believe that he does want to find her and make sure that she's okay. From some of the things that I've seen behind the scenes, there is some sort of past with him too. Negative things that I've heard. My first time I ever heard about him was with the Layla Kavik case, and with that situation, I remember there was this whole thing that happened that supposedly he leaked out private messages with Layla's mother. I don't know all the details behind that, but I know that that message did go all over the internet, all over Facebook. It was in the groups, and that would be interesting. I don't know if he's ever addressed it, but that would be interesting to hear and know about, because a lot of the people, there may be some people that don't know, but a lot of the people of the internet, they talk about that, and it's left like a bad taste in their mouth. My thoughts on just everything as a whole, like I said, I do believe he is, and he's actively looking for her. I do believe that. My thoughts on the whole thing with Noemi, it's kind of like we've been saying over the last couple of videos. Everything kind of points to she left on her own. We've been saying that even before it was publicly announced. I wish her the best. The other thing too I wanted to point out and talk about really briefly is the home. If you look online and you look up the, I'm not telling anybody to do it, but if you see how many bedrooms and bedrooms and bathrooms, it's like a 2-2. Now, she had a brother and a sister. It's 3 of them, and they're sharing one room. Okay. I can only imagine to the dynamics between that, because, and this is not a shot at the parents at all. People have different situations, things that they're going through. With regards to a 2-2, it's not at all a shot at them, but I'm just saying from Noemi's perspective, somebody that's struggling with a dilemma, somebody that's a woman, even though this entire time in the media, they've been putting her as, somewhat autistic, which I believe is possible, but she's a very smart, intelligent woman. I was so surprised with some of the things that I seen. And so she maybe feels like she's being treated like a kid, but in reality, she's not. And there's a lot of accepting people. I'm telling you, if she does watch this, a lot of accepting people I could give up about what that whole, if it is what I'm thinking you're dealing with, that particular situation, I really don't care. I talk about that stuff sometimes with regards to kids. You're a grown adult. You're a woman, a grown adult. And I really feel and think that it's more than any of us know that really happened. It might not even just be that particular situation. It could be other things, and it's possibly a reason. So I wish her the best. I do. I've said that so many times. I wish you the best, Noemi. I do think you owe me a drink. Email me sometime. You owe me a drink. I mean, and I've looked into the church and just not them particularly, but the history. It's a kind of crazy history, and so I can see how maybe she would struggle with that. And who knows how that was perceived at home. And there's other things that I can't say. And as far as the church, my interactions were very minimal because, you know, we went out to do the flyers. I went and knocked on some doors, and it was minimal, but the small interactions that I've had with them, the local ones, they were nice. You know, I have not, you know, you meet somebody, you don't really know what people are or who they are. But all I can say is I've had nothing but nice, it seems genuine interactions, you know? And maybe I should make that clear. I only spoke to one person a couple of times, and that person to me seemed very genuine and like they really cared and maybe kind of in the middle of things, my perception. So I don't know. I don't know what she was dealing with, but it seems like she's right, you know. And I saw some people even coming at Joe for putting out what he put out. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? I mean, to me, just trying to look at it from that perspective, there's nothing to gain by putting that out and potentially being wrong. Unless you were really, really sure, there's nothing to gain. There's everything to lose by putting out that you believe she's alive. And I've been saying that, so I'll jump and back up on that I believe she's alive as well. I'll jump up on that. I don't think some of these people, I saw some of the comments, I don't think they should attack him for that. I think it's kind of like how he's saying, and I'm sure, I don't even think, he probably doesn't like some of the stuff that I've said and whatever, but I agree with the message that it should be accepting, hey, it's okay, you know, it's fine, you know, whatever you're dealing with, and you know, it would be nice if it's just like confirmation you're alive, you're not being held captive, but at the same time, you know, there's probably more reasons than we know for what she did, and what she's doing, what she's doing. And there's quite a few people from what I've seen that still don't believe that's the case, that she's like voluntarily. There's a lot of people that feel that it's still human, you know, and so, you know, I don't know. So appreciate the support. Please hit the like and subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. Thank you for all the members, and take care of yourselves. Peace.